Hello, hello, hello. And welcome back to another episode of Couch Potato Queens, covering this season of the challenge, 38, Ride or Dies. I am Steven. Joined with me tonight is none other than the beautiful Doug.
Ooh, the beautiful Doug. Thank
Beautiful.
you. Wow, that was nice. How are you, Steven?
I am fantastic.
This was an episode. Finally.
Sure was.
It was messy. But I'm excited to talk to you about it because there sure as hell is a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, you know that there's a lot in an episode when we don't even get a club scene.
Well, Tommy's gone. How can we have a club scene
exactly.
if Tommy's gone?
The moment he goes, they're like, let's just scrap this section.
We don't need it. Funny. There's enough drama anyways.
Ooh, yeah, this was a good episode. But for those of you watching, if you have not yet already, go ahead and smash that like. Give us a thumbs up. But this episode, yeah, this was good. I mean, there were some pretty iconic. I can't lie. I'm gonna remember this little scene with Laurel for like, this is a scene I'm going to remember for quite a while.
I mean, Laurel is just so good at giving us iconic moments in general,
and like just being authentic, like that.
Yeah,
like she's not doing anything out of the ordinary. I mean, she's her true self,
right? And it just makes, I don't know, there was like that period of time where we didn't have any Laurel, so it's just so refreshing to have her back in her Laurel format, like just nothing ever. I don't know. It's nice to have that on our screens again.
I know. She said, "Dr. Laurel is back. Don't fuck with me."
And Michelle chose to for no reason.
Dude.
Oh, we'll get into it, but yeah, that's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, I'd say if I had to choose an MVP for this episode, definitely Laurel. And man, I loved Michelle, but I don't know what the girl was thinking.
Yeah, so remind me again, do you watch Survivor? Have you seen Michelle's seasons of Survivor?
I think I may have seen the first one.
Maybe
I didn't watch the All Winners one.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm a big Survivor fan and a big Michelle fan in general. And she, I don't know, at least at the end, by the end of the episode, she's self-aware enough to realize how dumb and terrible all of her moves are. I will at least give her credit there. And yeah, it just seemed like she had all of this paranoia built up for no good reason, really. I mean, she just said that the vibes feel off with Laurel. And I mean, I can imagine if I was in the same house as Laurel and I'm not making an effort to create a friendship or a bond with Laurel, that the vibes might feel that way, because I don't know, Laurel is kind of hard to read sometimes, but like, that means make an effort, like try, have a conversation. Like the whole fact that she was just like, oh yeah, I never really felt as though you were going to be on my side or anything. It's like, well, have that conversation and try to build relationships with people. Like I don't understand why that wasn't part of her strategy here.
Well, she did say, so Jay and Michelle were on the official challenge podcast today with Anissa and Davon, since Tori is off filming the Global Championship. And what Michelle says is that, whenever she would, I guess, if she was even to bring up Laurel, that everyone was saying, oh no, we're cool with Laurel. We're cool, like that everyone was cool with Laurel.
Right.
But nothing was ever given towards her that Laurel wasn't cool with her.
Right.
In fact, I mean, just going into the season, when I saw the cast list, I figured the two of them would hit it off. I was quite surprised that of any of the two that they butt heads. Like, very surprised.
No, I think that if the conversation would have actually happened, and we don't see, this was what's interesting to me too, is like we don't really see much time between after Jay and Michelle win the challenge to then just like figuring out who they're going to put up for the zone or whatever. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Steven. I think that there's alternate reality where Laurel and Michelle link up and are really good friends and could do some damage together. But I blame Michelle for not making that happen, honestly. Like, I feel like it needed to take... Laurel's not just going to come to you and make that happen. You have to kind of like make that happen to some extent too. So yeah, I think that there was potential there, but it just went the completely wrong way.
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah.
But starting the episode out, we get a fun little pool party, and Dr. Laurel is like, I've been in veterinary school. I'm ready to let loose. This is a party. And I just know Tommy was sitting at home wishing he was there, little party boy. That was hold on, I want to bring up this. That gave me some let's see. Jack was like, there's a new gay in town.
Oh, God. It's a look. This is before emo. This is before emo campfire night, right? Is this the same day as emo campfire night?
Well, Laurel she went on, she did like a Instagram Q&A, and somebody had asked, like, you know, what's the timing of like the challenge? And it's basically like they film like 2 episodes a week. It's like daily, off day, or the daily, off day, elimination, off day, like so on and so forth. So this is their off.
Their little buffer day. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, I'm assuming this would be the day after Tommy and Annalise were eliminated.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I was living for it. But there's a lot of hooking up, and I didn't realize that. I don't know that Fessy or Fezzle and Colleen were that much into each other. I mean, I knew he had his what do they say? His hand in all the cookie jars, whatever the code is.
Yes,
he's in some jars.
His fingers and hands were places. We can leave it at that in multiple places.
I mean,
they kind of alluded to this. They've been pushing this Colleen thing a little bit in the last couple of episodes, at least.
Yeah, I was not. I don't know. Of all of the girls in the house, I'm like, who has not at least spent half an hour in Fessy's bed at this point?
Right.
It wouldn't have surprised me if Tommy climbed in there at one point.
That would not surprise me either. No.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Fessy is an equal opportunity employer.
Yes, it's a good way to put it.
Anyone who wants it, they get it.
Yes. I still don't understand what the allure is. Like, I don't get it. Like, you just seem so one-dimensional. I don't understand what these girls are clamoring over.
The only thing that I can understand, just from having straight girlfriends, they love tall guys. That's the one consistent thing I see amongst what most straight girls might like is height.
Yeah,
the height. That's all. That's the rest is,
I suppose.
Meanwhile, me as a gay man, the shorter the better.
Oh, so is that why you're hitting up Tommy?
I mean, I did hug him in person, and I was like, okay, let's see where he comes to on my body. And it's like right about at the nipple.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So we get pool party, and it's like it goes from splish splash bikinis to I hate everything. I am dark. I am. Oh, no. Hold on. Before we even get into that, the pool party. I wish I had a screenshot of this. Bananas and Mariah.
Yes.
She even said, my mama told me, stay away from him. She's like, he's not normally the type of guy I would go for, but I like his personality. I'm like, to be honest, if anything, it's the personality that would turn me away. But maybe he is captivating in person. I don't know.
I mean, I think that makes more sense to me than all the women clamoring over Fessel.
You know what? I think you're right about that.
Yeah,
I would go for Bananas over Fessy.
Well, yeah. One, Johnny has way more money, which is usually my determination. I don't care about height. I care about how much money you have. I didn't say that out loud, did I? Yeah, I did.
You did.
But yeah, I also want to know what else Mariah's mom told her. Like, can we get like the whole notebook? Like, what did she say about all these other people? I want to know all the deets on. I want more of Mariah's mom.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're gonna know one name from the challenge,
Johnny.
It's gonna be Johnny Bananas. But just stay away from him. No. Yeah,
and if there's one person your mom doesn't want you to get with, it's probably Johnny Bananas. Just saying.
Yeah, that part.
Oh, look, a screen grab with who's that in the background there? Who are those?
Oh my god. That's
never seen them.
That's the most screen time. That's the most.
Yeah. Who is that? I don't never recognized them.
You know what, Sophie? I totally agree with that. Jack would be a wonderful couch potato queen.
Let's get him on here. I'm in. I'm in.
I love
Definitely
those.
in.
Yeah, but emo night. Okay. I, for one, was very happy about this because I mean, as far as Panic at the Disco goes, I knew every single word to every single song on that album. That was my shit in the mid 2000s. Absolutely loved it. And everyone was like really in character. I appreciated it. They, for the most part, everyone did a really good job of their little emo look.
Yeah, I kind of wanted like a screen grab of like everyone's emo looks so we could look at them. But
I know that I think I may have liked the way Kim looked the most.
I mean,
he looked really good. I mean, yeah.
There's never a time when I don't like what Kim looks like. But yes, agreed. And I feel like this had to have been Jay's idea, right? Like, I feel like before the season, he was like, okay, we're having an emo night. Like, everyone get on board. Like this is what I want. It definitely does.
But Laurel said, she's like, Jack is a poet. They write a song. Then they decide we're gonna have emo night. And what's their name? Chinese takeout.
Chinese takeout. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's cute. That's cute. But I just love how Laurel says, yeah, Jack is a poet. He's a writer. And then the song is na 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 na. Like,
yes, the lyricist.
I like boots the house down, honey.
Oh Lord,
go off.
But this is also the first that we've seen of their bromance, right? Like we didn't get any in previous episodes because this is where it starts getting interesting. To me as a viewer, as I'm watching this episode, I'm looking at the edit and I'm like, okay, why are they telling us about Jay's deep friendship with Jack all of a sudden? And then we get Laurel saying like, oh yeah, or I mean Michelle, we get Michelle saying, yeah, I know that Jay's really close with Jack, but I don't have a relationship with Laurel. And so like clearly, I mean, now we know too, but like even at the time I was like, this is setting the stage for something bigger. And like even throughout the episode, once we get to the daily and everything, like you can just tell that they're setting us up for Jay and Michelle winning. I mean, and it's so clear throughout the entire episode that they're trying to tell us this story as best as they can.
Yeah, it's kind of, I definitely realized that you can kind of gather most of what, at least a good portion of what will happen by the end of the episode in the first 5-10 minutes, just from the stories that they go off of. But I mean, I also get it. It's like they start off with 30 something people. There's only so much they can really show. Like, unless it's a showman's, it's like, I don't know, I guess friendships kind of get left in the dust. But I mean, I felt like we hadn't really even seen that much of Jack and Laurel since the first episode. I feel like that was when we saw them, and then they kind of took a hiatus.
No, that's true. And honestly, I do think that like, because this was a very confusing episode. I mean, to understand as a viewer, like why these decisions were being made and what was happening, because it made no sense. It made no sense to everybody in the house. So how are you going to make it make sense to the people watching at home? And I think that they tried to do that the best they could by showing like these dynamics earlier. So I do think production-wise and edit-wise, MTV did the best job that they could to try to explain how Laurel and Jay made their completely foolish decisions. And I mean Michelle and Jay. And by Michelle and Jay, I mostly mean Michelle.
Yeah. I mean, at first I thought we'll get into the deliberation. I have too much to say about that.
We're almost there.
But but and I did, there was a scene where Michelle was like talking to Amber just about the Laurel thing. And if Amber is calling out your paranoia, honey, then it might be in your head.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my girl Amber, but I mean, she stays paranoid.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, she's never really had great footing in the game, and so a lot of it's justified in her previous seasons because she's never really had the great alliances or people like protecting her. So that kind of makes sense. But yeah, it is bad if Amber's calling out your paranoia. I will agree with you there.
So this daily Royal Relay, sponsored by Burger King.
We have to have a Burger King challenge. Come on, let's go.
Who was it? What season was that? Somebody won, like, was that in Double Agents? Like Darrell and somebody won like Burger King for life.
Yes, I remember that. Did we think that actually happened? Are they still winning Burger King for life?
I'm pretty sure I've heard that wasn't really a thing, or maybe it was like a Whopper a week.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like it actually carried out. But I mean, I would not eat Burger King for life. No, I would not. I was going to say I would if it was free, but
hell no.
But yeah, we get to this cool little Royal Relay challenge, and TJ's wearing a ridiculously dumb scarf, and I could not.
I thought he had come straight out of like Harry Potter.
I was so confused by that damn scarf. I was like, TJ, who dressed you today and why? Like, this is not TJ. And was it really that cold? Like, did he really need a scarf?
No, it's like they're about to get in the fucking water. Like,
yeah,
no way.
I did not understand the wardrobe choices here. But here we are. Was this the only challenge where they got money for winning? There weren't any prize money for the previous challenges, were there?
No, and that's definitely something that it felt real old school, when they would like actually get something for winning. Because honestly, with this season, I feel like the way that the format is, you need to give them some incentive to win, because winning is doing nothing but putting a target on your fucking back.
I completely agree. Like because I feel like there's more downfall to winning than there is benefit. Because you're putting in 8 people for possible elimination.
I mean, that's a fourth of the cast.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Over 4.
That's a lot. Especially when you make the completely wrong decisions.
Like this format, the format's gonna. I wonder how many more weeks the format has left, because that's a lot.
Yeah,
I guess if you, I guess if you think you're in trouble, win. But if I don't know, do people really throw? Like I'm in Big Brother, people throw challenges a lot, but do they really throw dailies on the challenge? Besides the only one, unless it's very blatant, like CT and War of the Worlds 2, there was that one scene, but
I still feel like there needs to be a penalty for losing. Like I think that and these challenges allow for that mostly. Like just put the last place team in and then allow the winners to throw in 3 other teams or something. I don't know. I still feel like it's just okay. All right, now that we know who won, and then everything else is meaningless. Like have the completely rest of the challenge. So make it a little bit more intriguing by having some competition to not be last. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, I'm not a good swimmer. What am I doing here? I'm not going to win this week, so I'm just going to chill and sit on this bench and in the back of the boat and allow the challenge to go on without me. Like it just seems ridiculous.
Hi, Jess.
Hey, Jess.
How you doing, sis?
Hey, girl. Hey.
We love Jess.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, because I mean, Amber and Chauncey, they get DQ because they flip the damn boat.
Yeah, what's the penalty for that? Nothing. Once I realized that we were going to lose, I probably would have flipped my boat too. I would have been like, well, this is dumb. Like, what am I doing here? There's no penalty for losing, so bye. That was funny when they flipped their boat, though.
There was, so I picked up on this. So when they're showing, the who's in first place, second place, this right here would have been a very simple reason for Michelle to give Laurel. I mean, Laurel and Michelle, they're right on top of each other,
Yeah, but that didn't last long. That was only at the very beginning, because once I feel like Michelle got to the first buoy, she was pretty much, I think Laurel got off to a really fast start, and then Michelle kind of overtook her. But I agree with you. She could have said, I see you as a threat, and that's why. But her whole justification later was, no, we wanted to actually protect people that we thought were going to win, which is interesting. Because that's, and I think even Jay said that in the podcast too. He was like, well, we wanted to protect Johnny and Nani because we felt as though they're most likely to win more challenges and might keep us safe. So yeah, you can't have both ways. You're either putting in your threats or you're trying to protect your threats. Either way, I don't know. It just was dumb.
Yeah. I mean, this, I'm trying to think, for this challenge, I mean, I don't know how I would actually do swimming in open water. I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty good swimmer in a pool, but going the complete wrong way, Veronica did it. Jack did it. It's like the moment you go on your back, you're just going the opposite direction. But I don't know. I love Veronica. She's such a good loser. When she does well, she can laugh it off. I don't know. She does it with such grace. Yeah, I loved it.
Yes.
But I don't know. A lot of me, I really wonder about how valid the wins are, because, did they really need 2 heats? Since we don't see time, there's 2 winners, and Tori and Devin, Michelle and Jay, production could just be like, they're the winners.
I
don't want to think like that. Maybe that's just me being.
I do think that Jay is
skeptical.
a really strong swimmer.
Yeah.
And I do feel as though they are a pretty dominant team. So yeah, I had to show some shoulders today.
It's called a gay tank top, okay?
That's right. Yeah. It's called gay tank top.
I don't own anything but
I thought this was interesting, like the finishes, because I would have thought that Olivia and Horatio would have done a little bit better. I mean, they got in third, I think, but I was surprised that they weren't pushing a little bit more. And then they made it really seem like Nelson and Nerys were like all the way in last. And then Jack kind of struggled too. But yeah, this was an interesting heat. I felt like it kind of got boring after a while though, of watching it. But I do like that they each had to play a role, right? That they each had to swim, they each had to row. It did seem pretty balanced. I liked like the graphic that you have, that we could kind of keep track of it and see exactly where the teams were at. And I liked really in the second heat when Kim just like started taking over and he got that little montage and was just looking so majestic and rowing that boat.
I know.
Kim, give it to me.
Dude, I thought it was so funny though when in the beginning Nerys starts talking about how Nelson took her on their first date too, and I thought she was about to say Burger King, but I was like, come on, Nelly T. But no, that they went rowing. I'm like, oh, how cute.
But first they went to Burger King, and then they went rowing.
Sophie, great question. I think they've gone missing, and please report it to your local police station if you see them.
I mean, but do we really miss them? I
No.
mean, yeah, I'm here for other people, anyways. Yes, Ruth is. She does. She just wants all the attention. She doesn't know what's going on.
Cute. Yeah, but they so what, they win $5,000 each.
I think it was each. Yeah.
And then it comes to the Burger King, and they're like, "Oh, everyone is royal. Everyone gets to eat." I'm like, "Fuck that! Make some of these people starve." Why is everyone eating?
You have your option of eating Burger King or your option of eating probably whatever was else in the house. So I mean, that's a big spread. Burger King just said, "Let's get this product placement in here. Let's show." Like, that doesn't even look how staged that looks. Like, why are there like 3 cups together? The fry, like that just looks ridiculous.
Well,
that's absurd.
Tori was on Bananas podcast this week as his guest, probably because they're both filming the Global Championship and they had to do it on site. Because I'm like, why is Tori the guest this week? But she said they get there and the burgers are cold. I'm like, yeah, because they set that up probably when you guys were doing the daily. It is product placement. It is not for y'all.
No, that was not for eating. That was for show.
I'm like, no.
Let's get to this deliberation because this is the meat of the episode. These dumb decisions.
I mean, I don't. Michelle I just did not. I expected so much more. Okay, that's. Yeah, I see how Bananas has the wins that he has, because whatever he's doing, how is it that you can throw someone in and then just not get that thrown back at you? I mean, it's an eye for an eye. I don't see it another way. You have a choice of 4 teams and you don't put Bananas and Nani in? I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I am so surprised we did not get the reasoning that I can't put Nani in because she's my best friend. Because Michelle,
right. I mean, Michelle clearly thinks that she still has a friendship and bond with Nani that's stronger than I think Nani thinks. But who knows? Maybe they were able to mend that a little bit after the first time that they threw them in. So here's my question: who do you think? Because all of these decisions were wrong. Like, if you're going to try to make an attack against the vets, then why also throw in Kim and Colleen? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you either go all in on that or don't. Like, don't also throw in Kim and Colleen if you're trying to work with the rookies, which it seems like they kind of are. So that didn't make sense. So, Steven, who do you think should have been the 4 that they put in?
Okay, Bananas and Nani, period. And then I would say Darrell and Veronica are an easy one to put in.
I think Darrell and Veronica, that you could, yes. I don't think that's going to cause too much. So I think Darrell and Veronica was an okay choice. I agree with you there.
And then
I also think Jordan and Anissa were a fine choice, kind of. Like, that really wasn't that bad of a choice. So I would have done Jordan and Anissa, Veronica and Darrell.
Tori and Devin.
I would have also put in Tori and Devin because, like, that's how I'm thinking of it. Like, just put in all, like, 4 really strong teams and you're guaranteed to get out one of them. And, like, you're already whatever. But then you can, like, work your inroads. Like, are you going to be working with Fessy and Nelson? Like, it seems like Nelson and Jay, I thought Nelson and Jay were really good friends. So, like, okay, so keep that. So, and maybe if you want to try and save Nani and Bananas, you maybe still could. So you throw in Devin and Tori, you throw in Veronica and Darrell, you throw in Jordan and Anissa, and I don't know. Do you throw in Casey and Kenny? Why not?
Exactly. Unless she's seeing it as, oh, I can't throw in my best friend's girlfriend. I mean, like,
So I don't know. It just all seemed like the wrong decisions, obviously. And, like, even as soon as they got into deliberation and started bringing these teams in, they realized how terrible their decisions were. And I wish that Jay, first of all, I really like that shirt on Jay, and I kind of want it for myself. But second of all, it just felt like Jay just defaulted to Michelle too much. And here's the thing. Yes, Michelle was a better Survivor player than Jay, but I think Jay's a better challenge player than Michelle. So he does not need to just, like, default and listen to Michelle so much and realize that maybe he does have better takes and has better relations. He's also been able to make better relationships with people. Like, to me, Jay's a much better challenge player than Michelle is. And so the fact that he just kind of defaults to her and lets her make these decisions when he kind of had better reads and probably should have been more vocal is just kind of frustrating of the whole thing.
It's like, if him and Jack are as good of bros as it's made out to be, then, I mean, regardless of who they're stuck with, I mean, you just don't do it. And the Kim and Colleen thing, there is absolutely no reason, if you're going to do 3 pairs of vets, if you add 1 rookie team and you're not putting the rookie team into elimination automatically, that means they have to pull the safe dagger.
Right.
They have to, because why would, I mean, well, Veronica almost, Veronica almost didn't, but like, the vets, 9 times out of 10, the vets are going to save the vets.
Yes. It just didn't make any sense. And then, like, the whole Johnny and Nani of it all, like, oh, we're going to do this because then they'll have an IOU. Like, maybe you should have that. Like, wouldn't you have that discussion beforehand too? Like, the fact that they made these decisions and then tried to force that made no sense. Like, if that's clearly what you want to do, then be like, hey, just let you know, like, we are thinking about not throwing you in. We're probably going to pick 4 other teams. And if we do that, we would need some reassurance that you're going to protect us. Like, that's the conversation you have. That's like main game strategy. Well, why would you make the decisions and then try to force like backwards into it? It was dumb all the way around.
Yeah, I do wonder how much time goes by from when they win the daily to deliberation. Because
right.
I wonder if it's like, okay, shower, change, and we're going right into this. Like, if there's any time for talk at all, I would hope there's not, because if there is and they didn't take advantage of that, it's just dumb. It's dumb.
Well, it seems like it differs because remember, was it?
Uh-oh. Doug, I can't hear you. Hello.
Lost you.
There you go. I hear you now. Hello.
I can hear you. We're good. We're back.
Yeah, you're totally right, because last episode they had the club scene before the deliberation.
Right. So I feel like they changed it up for some reason, because we definitely didn't get that. It definitely seemed as though there wasn't as much time this week, for whatever reason, between them making these decisions and bringing the 4 teams in. But yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that was really weird. But oh man, Laurel, I've been waiting to have this as that look. I mean, iconic. Do you have a question? I was gagged. It's just like her and Jack just look at each other like what are you wanting? I mean, I was with her. I'm like, you're muted, Doug. Oh, okay. Doug will be right back. But Laurel, I mean, this is, and we're back.
I'm back. I don't know what's going on. I think it's my Wi-Fi or something. But yeah, do you have a question? Is there
I can't think of a more perfect response, because Jay and Michelle really were just like spouting out bullshit to them, and you know, it is there a question?
I don't know what Michelle was thinking. Like, I just don't understand. And like, especially in this, like, you're the one that needs to do the talking, and you're the one that needs to do the explaining, because these decisions didn't make any sense. And Anissa gets just as frustrated too. She's like, what are we doing? Like, no, like, why are you trying to get things out of me? You're the one that made this decision. I'd like to know how you came to this decision, because it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm just an innocent bystander here. I didn't do anything. Y'all made this decision. Y'all should be giving us some reasonings as to why you came to this decision.
I mean, this really was the spiciest deliberation yet. I mean, like, first it's Jarrell and Veronica. Veronica, I mean, she even says, like, why didn't you put bananas in Nani? Anissa, why didn't you put bananas in Nani?
Yeah.
Kim and Colleen, they didn't deserve it, but but really, like, yeah, this is your time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I think of like Johnny and Raven, when they had their first deliberation, they used that time like wisely. You know, like,
Yes.
use the fucking time.
Yes. Yeah, like this honestly was the perfect opportunity for Jay and Michelle. This is a great time to win and like actually build some relationships and solidify yourself with a certain side of the house, but instead you just piss off everyone. So the one thing I will say is that Jay and Michelle do seem like they're a pretty strong team. So there is a chance that they could win another challenge here, and maybe they'll learn from these mistakes. But I don't know if there's any restoring anything. But yeah, I don't see any other scenario. Like all of the teams that they just threw in would throw them in, and have a high likelihood of winning a daily too. Besides Veronica and Darrell, I really don't think they're going to win any dailies. But yeah. This was just dumb.
I liked Michelle last season, and I don't dislike her, but the math ain't mathing. Like, it's just not adding up.
No. Well, I mean, she even says that she was just going off of her gut, like, which I don't know. I just don't understand. She didn't like think it through more. It had to have been like a short timing thing. I agree with you, but it's just like, and was their plan always? So here's my other question: was their plan always to throw in Laurel and Jack? So out of the 4 that they nominated, was it always going to be, yeah, we're going to throw Laurel and Jack in and see whoever is going to go up against them? Or once they had this deliberation, they realized, okay, there's no repairing this relationship. So at that point, I feel like, okay, I guess you throw them in and hope they go home. But I don't know. The game plan just, it was never thought through.
It wasn't, because if not Laurel and Jack, then what would have been an alternative plan?
Yeah, like, were you going to throw in? I don't understand what the best case scenario was of those 4 teams going in. What's your best case scenario? That Kim and Colleen beat Laurel and Jack, I guess, would have been the ideal scenario for them.
I mean, I would have said, I
don't know.
I don't know what. I mean, they really did have to. I mean, you see it in the episode. Michelle's like, "Fuck it, we've got to make a split-second decision. Let's do it." And it wasn't thought out. But I'm like, the moment you win, like the moment they won that first heat, they should have been thinking about it. Like they had a whole second heat to think of. Okay, we have 50% chance of winning. It's either going to be us or whoever wins heat 2. Start discussing then.
They should have been thinking about it before the challenge even started. Like, think about who you would do. Like, if I'm in that house, you have these buffer days. Aren't you thinking about, okay, here's where I'm at in the game. Here's where I think my alliances are. Here's how I would play this. Like, yeah, it just seemed as though they didn't, I don't know. And even in some of the interviews and stuff, too, it seemed as though Michelle wasn't talking to other people. And it's so weird when, like, there's this blame game of, oh, well, you never talked to me game. You never talked to me about game. And you even see it between Veronica and Anissa, where Veronica's like, well, we didn't really talk to each other. But it's like, I don't understand how these people don't talk to each other. Like, what are you doing in the house on these off days? Like, aren't you building relationships and trying to understand what you're going to do if you have power? Like, that seems, I don't know, stupid.
Yeah, and Jack did say, I mean, I think that Jack had a good point where, or maybe it was Laurel who said it about Jack, but that maybe Jay was just, thinking Jack would be like, oh, no, I understand. It's a game. Like, yeah, do what you had to do. But Jack straight up says, I've never gotten over anything anyone's ever done to me. I'm like, period, sis. Neither have I. I don't forget or forgive.
I loved everything about Jack this episode. I loved his, like, calm demeanor here when he was just like, you know what, I'm just going to listen and there's not much I can do. And then when we get to the zone and the elimination, when he like finally is just like, you know what, I can't pretend being like just calm and collected and pretend like this doesn't matter anymore because this is stupid. But yeah, I love Jack more and more each episode.
Oh, I stand for
Yes.
sure. But then the whole scene with Laurel and Michelle, where I mean, Laurel is basically what did she say? She's like, "What are you asking? What she's I love it. She said, no, what's the quote? What do you actually mean when you say where my head is at? What are you asking? I don't understand what you don't understand. Like,
I would hate to be okay. I do empathize for Michelle a little bit in this situation. Like, I agree with the Laurel, obviously, but like, man, it would be so difficult to try to have a conversation with Laurel. I was feeling that way. Like, once you get her on the defense, like it's done. It's done. You're out. You're not going to be able to effectively communicate and have a conversation, and that would be frustrating. But like, Michelle, you made your own bed, so this is you get what's coming to you.
Oh God, I loved Laurel's confessional. She says, "Bitch, you sent me into elimination. It's too late."
Yeah. I do feel like Michelle and Jay were like, okay, well, we'll make all these choices, and then like we'll mend it. We'll figure out how to like we'll throw them all in, and then we'll be able to like somehow remedy the situation. Like, I feel like they overestimated their ability to remedy and like repair things with people, and they just were never able to because their decisions in the first place were so dumb.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
But fast forward to the elimination.
The zone.
Yeah. I want to get in the zone.
Let's get in the zone.
Now, I loved this draw. I knew Queen V Cakes, if she's going to come on the show, I mean, maybe it's just if I just love, I mean, this is an honorable mention to Veronica just for calling Anissa out in public, because not enough people do it. Like, I don't care if she's the podcast host, she's done this, she's done that. Homegirl's never won. And I agree with Veronica. Where was the talk? Where was it?
Yeah, I think there was never any point where Veronica was actually going to throw her in. I also think that Veronica's a very smart and knew she could make this into a little moment, and why not? Because she's been on TV so many times. She's like, I can make this a little moment and make him sweat a little bit, and I'm going to do that. But I was here for all of it.
I was here for it.
Did you like when it went to commercial? Were you like, maybe she is gonna throw in Anissa? Did you think that, or were you like, no, that's not gonna happen?
I didn't think she would. If this was like a solo game, I don't think she would have had Darrell co-sign on that.
Yeah, right. But I agree. I don't think Darrell would be. Yeah, but man,
honorable mention for that.
That was great. I did enjoy that moment.
Yeah, no. I was living for that. I was not expecting that at all. That was great.
If Kim and Colleen pull the safe dagger, who are they throwing in? Do you think?
I think they would save Darrell and Veronica.
You think they would throw in Jordan and Anissa?
Yeah. Honestly. I mean, yeah, I would say.
I could see that.
Because honestly, I thought Kim and Colleen, for rookies, they were enjoyable. I thought they were smart. They were physical. I thought they were great rookies, to be honest.
I did
we got a lot of great rookies, but like,
I wouldn't mind seeing them again, especially Kim.
I know we didn't get enough shirtless Kim.
No. We need to give him a cute love interest too. Come on, bring him back.
Honestly, I don't know. I think I would pay to see Kim and Tommy. Can't lie. It's a size difference for me.
I would not. For the record, we can put that on the record that Steven would pay, and I would not. So let's just we can differing.
I do 1 month subscription and then I'd unsubscribe, but
just enough to see the content for a bit and then cancel it.
Now, okay, this elimination, I was a little worried for Laurel, because this just from like what the eye can see, this is very similar to her War of the Worlds 2 infamous elimination.
I wonder if she was like even thinking that, like, I'm in a harness, I'm doing a climbing elimination.
It's like I'm sticking things here. Like I was like, oh my gosh! Like I thought for sure that they were going to lose, and even when they finally win, I'm like, there's a lot of celebration. This celebration's going on too long. I swear to God, I thought for sure TJ was about to say that they had done something wrong. I swear.
That would have been so bad.
I was like, don't you dare tell me that this is about to happen again.
I will say, I did kind of like this challenge. I wish we could have like seen, like, had a better indication of like if they were on track or not. I mean, TJ tells us in the end that they only had like one that was wrong. It was kind of hard to follow along, which as a viewer, like, I like it when I can follow along and see what's happening. Like, I don't even understand, like, so on the other side of the wall, like, where are those other pieces? You just had to like go up and I don't know. It was just a little confusing to me. And then the other part that I didn't like was that, like, I do feel as though there was a language barrier. Like, if you're forcing Kim and Colleen to speak in English when they're like native language, like, especially when you're having to describe colors and you're having to describe symbols, like, you can tell. And even Colleen was saying, like, that's not an infinity sign. That's like a link or something. I don't know what I would call that. Like a chain, like that one.
Didn't think about that.
But like, I do feel as though it was a little unfair for them to have to do something that was so based on communication and then say, Kim and Colleen, you have to do it in this second language that you're not as familiar with. I do think that was a little shady.
That's a very good point that I did not think about. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to see this with them just doing it in German.
Exactly. Like, I think I read somewhere that they specifically said that they had to do it in English, and it's like, why? Like, I don't care. You show them doing the challenge in German and like,
do the subtitles.
Yeah, exactly. Make it a fair challenge too, because I do feel like that does give advantage to Laurel and Jack, at least slightly.
I think you're absolutely right. I did not think about that at all. And yeah, I mean, we can do subtitles. Like, if you're gonna bring people on from shows that are not based in the US, let them speak their native language.
Exactly. I agree. And although it was really, they did not seem to have much urgency after that first check. Once Kim and Colleen got it wrong, they were like dilly-dallying around and like, oh, what's going on? Like, which of these is the wrong one? And Laura was like, okay, give me this one. What's that? Tell me that. Tell me that. Tell me that. And like,
well, when Laura restarted,
experience level or whatever, but yeah.
When Laura restarted, I was like, oh shit. But then Tori, her confessional says, like, this is definitely a vet move to restart. And I'm like, oh, because I was thinking it was a bad move, but I see where she's coming from. But that, I guess that does take, I don't know, some confidence, some balls to just restart the entire thing. But I mean, it was the right move.
It was the right move. It was like, I got to make this. I'm going to commit to this decision, and we're just going to start and go back all the way through. I think, it obviously worked. So,
yeah, but it was the celebrating of Laurel that I'm like, this is too similar to the last time. I'm like, she's literally upside down, like doing this. Like, she's like, yeah. That's why I thought for sure, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a literal repeat. TJ's gonna say, oh no, you guys are DQ'd. Like, I would have bet all my money on it. but I'm very happy that they are still here. Cannot wait. And we lost Doug. I cannot wait to see. Cannot wait to see Laurel and Jack come back into this house.
I know. It is setting up next week very well because all of the beef is going to still be there. So it's next week is going to be maybe even more drama than this week. I'm ready.
I think there will be, because let's just say there's a fight I heard that is going to happen, and I thought it was this episode. Now it makes total sense that it's coming. And even Jack, he said, right when he won, he said, kiss my ass, you rat piece of shit.
Rat piece of garbage. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
No, things are about to get messy. Even when you see the next time on the challenge, and Laurel is climbing into Fessy's bed.
Of course.
And Fessy even says, do you do this with Horacio? No.
Well, it seems as though that friendship between Jack and Jay is kind of over. I think he said on the Anissa podcast today that like they haven't talked since the show's over. So like it doesn't really seem like that friendship was as strong as we kind of made it believe. But I'm interested to see where this goes.
No, I think Jack's like me. Hold grudges. Hold
Yeah.
them out.
And at least, I mean, I love Kim and Colleen. I hope we get them back. But the more we get out these rookie teams, the closer we get to the vets going after the vets. And really, that's what we're all here for. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, I was going to be so pissed if we lost Laurel this early. I was not.
Yeah.
She was one of my top returning players. She's delivering just as much as I thought she would. And
yeah, so not only do we not lose Laurel, we get an angry Laurel, which is even better.
The best Laurel.
It's the best of both worlds. Honestly, thank you, Michelle. Thank you for this drama, this entertainment. You made some really dumb choices. And again, at the end of the episode, we do see Michelle being very self-aware, when she's like, yeah, that was that. I'm an idiot, and those were terrible decisions, and don't want to do that again. So, yeah, we'll see what happens next week. I'm excited.
I'm so ready for next week now. Yeah, that was good. Well, that about wraps it up. If you have not already, be sure to hit that like and follow us on social media. On Twitter, you can find us at Couch Potato QWNZ, Instagram at Couch Potato Queens. And Doug, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at dofurg, DOFURG.
Go give him a follow.
Yeah.
And you can find me on Instagram at Reginald__George, and on Twitter at wasreallygood1. But with that, we will see you next week. And if you have a question, let me know.
Yeah, give us some questions. Leave us some comments. Come on, let's get some more.
Do you have a question?
Come on. Do you have a question?
Bye, guys.
Bye.